lightning, all venom, I'm lost in them. Ready for war, better pray that the Lord with them. My only focus, new vision, my new religion. Just you and vengeance, my new addiction. I don't feel no feelings, now you were dealing with a super villain. Ain't no holding back, I'm a maniac in the mood for killing. No more forgiveness, I owe you payback, I'm coming with it. I promise you my revenge, and I'm gon'
I've just arrived in Perth, so I've made the road trip back up to Perth today to the Body Academy for what you guys could say will be the last and final kind of face-to-face check-in with my coach, so with Vicky today, pretty much before the BNBF finals, which is now 3 weeks out. We are 21 days out from the BNBF finals now, guys, so we are getting really close. It is really exciting. I've made the road trip up to Perth today, so we're going to kind of see how I'm looking. I am going to train in that, but what I was wanting to kind of say to you guys is I'm unsure if I'm going to film this session today or get it filmed. I might bring a few things, but I might not. What I'll do is, if I don't bring anything to you guys from this session today, which is obviously going to be my back session, I am going to deadlift. I'll still take you guys through it regardless, but I'm moving on to legs next. Not specifically legs straight away, but what I'll do is I'll try and bring that session to you guys just to show you how it is going to be reaching near enough the kind of show day mark. Pretty much just things like, does training change near to show day? What happens with training? Food wise as well, I'll find out more about my food and that today. But that is really going to be it, guys. We have arrived at the Body Academy in Perth. It's back day. I'm going to get after it. I've not got that long left until prep is done. The diet is nearly finished. I do hope you guys enjoy this video. Like I said last week, this is probably going to be another random video, but I'm going to bring you absolutely everything that I can. I promise you that. That's one thing. I've got one meal to go before I do train today, which is just going to be chicken, sweet potato and broccoli. So that has been my pre-workout meal for I don't even know how long now. You guys will be able to go back in the videos and see how long that chicken and sweet potato has been my pre-workout meal. It's freezing, it's soggy, it's going to taste unbelievable, but I'm just kind of going to get on with this day. It's back day. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of this video. If you do enjoy it, then please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button for me. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, and yeah, let's just get on with this video. Right, first question, shoulder impingement means I can't do incline barbell presses. How much of an issue is this? To be quite honest, it's not that much of an issue. I wouldn't really be that fussed that you can't do barbell presses because, again, we're in 2020. It is the modern day fitness industry, the modern day bodybuilding industry. There is so much new equipment that you pretty much don't need to make use out of barbells. Don't get me wrong, I am a big swearer by barbells, but at the same time, there's that much out there these days to offer that you literally don't need to use them. So if you can get in a better position, I even find you get more out of a machine than what you would do a barbell, because you might not be able to connect to a barbell as well as maybe some other people that have kind of only grew up with a barbell. So again, it's not really that big of a problem. I wouldn't really worry about it. There's so much other things that you can do to progress, obviously, on your incline movements. I'm assuming if you're meaning maybe like for your chest and shoulders, depending on how high of an incline it is you're wanting to go on. But it's not an issue. I wouldn't really be that fussed about it. There are so many new pieces of kit out there. I'm assuming you obviously train at a pretty decent gym anyway. That is, if you don't, then I mean, you're pretty much ruined. But if you do train at a pretty decent gym that do offer really, really good kit these days, now I know a lot of them do. It's very rare to go to a gym now and not get most of the new kit. So again, it's not a problem. There's so many that offer really, really good machines that can actually take you away from doing the barbell moves, which to a point I disagree with, because a lot of people are just going straight for machines these days and just skipping by the basics. But if that's what you need to do, then that's what you need to do. How do you recover from training every day? Sleep. Sleep is one of the biggest things. Food is one of the biggest things. Supplements, another really big thing. These all come into play. Like if you're managing all variables outside of training, nothing's not possible, okay? Especially sleeping. I realized very, very, very early that sleeping was absolutely huge when it comes down to recovery. Don't get me wrong, rest is an absolute massive part. Rest days are a massive part, but sleep is so important. Like if you're only taking in between 3 and 5 hours of sleep, it's guaranteed not to be enough, regardless how much you're eating, regardless what supplements you're taking. Bearing in mind, obviously, with me being a natural athlete, I cannot take just absolute anything for recovery. I've got to make sure that I'm watching out what I take for recovery, and at the same time, sleep as well. I've got to take into consideration that sleep is going to be a huge factor when it comes down to my recovery. So yeah, sleep, naps through the day, schedule a nap, do what you need to do. These things can work. So you've just really got to be nailing all variables outside of training, okay? So don't get me wrong, training's fine, but if you're not doing everything that you need to do outside, if you're just going training and then wasting time outside, not putting anything towards your training, you're probably not going to progress in the gym. And again, progression outside the gym, you're progressing your recovery. You're only going to be able to recover better. So that should always be the goal. Why are you training every set to failure? How many sets are you doing for every muscle? Again, this is one of the things that really, really, really gets on my nerves, because training gets overcomplicated so much these days. Now, this is one of the biggest things with the modern fitness industry on why training gets overcomplicated. Like, what's the best split? How many sets and reps should you do? What's the best amount of sets per muscle group to make them grow? What's the best amount of sets per muscle group to lose fat? There is none. You literally just need to go into the gym and get after the iron, and I cannot recommend that enough. For me, being so young, like I have not long turned 22, so this is the thing. I am not going to be in a state where I'm going to be the same as, like, say, for instance, somebody that's 40-year-old in training that might need to maybe take more to do with the recovery side of things and what they are going to be able to recover from. Don't get me wrong, there is going to be a specific amount of volume that I am going to only be able to recover from, but I always take my sets to failure. I always have taken my sets to failure. This comes into the part where it goes to my love of training. So I like just going into the gym and getting after the weights and leaving and getting on with everything else. I don't like going into the gym and focusing on writing a logbook, focusing on this specific weight today, that specific weight tomorrow, this one the next day. I like just getting after it on the day, depending on what I'm training. Get in, get out, and move on from there. So how many sets are you doing for every muscle? I like to think to myself, I do maybe between 2 and 3 working sets. So they're working sets, they don't include warm-up sets. Again, overall, throughout the session, that'll remain the same. Smaller moves, you're more chance of kind of taking maybe an extra working set because they're not as demanding and not as taxing on the CNS as obviously your bigger moves such as a deadlift or a barbell move. But yeah, I would say about 2 working sets total, 3 working sets on your smaller moves. Any help with tennis elbow, things to help it get better? This is a hard one because me personally, I've never had anything like this. I've had quite a few questions regarding this, and really the only things I can recommend is making sure that you're stretching enough, guys, making sure that maybe you might need to put an elbow sleeve on or an elbow strap on just to keep it in a specific place, so you're not kind of putting a lot of pressure on it and making it flare up even more. Anti-inflammatory, guys, painkillers, things like that you might be able to cycle. It's just things like that you would probably get recommended from like a physio. Don't get me wrong, I am not a physio, but it's things like that you will get recommended if you were to say attend. So just look throughout the internet, do your research, guys, on tennis elbow. That's one of the things. You might just find what I've just told you. You might find something else. Just make sure you're stretching it enough. Don't be putting too much pressure on it to the point where it seizes up. Wear a sleeve, wear a strap, do something to keep it in a specific position, and anti-inflammatories if you need them, so as and when required. If it's sore, just to kind of kill the pain for that little bit, and then making sure you're doing what you need to do when it's not as sore. If you do much isolation work on your forearms, I don't actually do any work on my forearms whatsoever. I've done the odd reverse wrist curl here and there, and the reverse bicep curl, things like that, but again, I don't specifically do them every single week. I don't do them every session. You'll be lucky if I do them once a month. I've just pretty much got my forearm gains from my bigger moves, your barbell moves again, pressing, pulling, things like that. Pull-ups as well can bring in a lot of forearm work. Back exercises can bring forearm work, especially when you start to fatigue. I don't isolate them whatsoever.